to think as deep.
Welcome, curious learner, to the Deep Dive. Today, we are plunging headfirst into the fascinating world of an artist who has, well, absolutely exploded onto the global music scene.
Yeah, leaving this trail of viral hits and some really surprising collaborations.
Exactly. We're talking about Yuki Chiba.
Yeah.
His tracks, especially Team Tomodachi, became this instant social media thing, like overnight.
Mm-hmm.
And then, boom, he drops Mamushi, this massive global track with Megan Thee Stallion.
Which didn't just get, 87 million views? It actually got gold certification in the U.S. That's huge.
It really is. And it makes you wonder, right? How does an artist even create music that resonates so universally? Especially when it seems to come from this place of pure, unplanned spontaneity.
Right.
So this deep dive is all about getting under the hood with Yuki Chiba, his really unconventional career path, his unique way of making music, and the philosophy behind it all, which is honestly quite surprising.
And we've got some great sources for this, right? Interviews where he really opens up.
Yeah, exactly. A stack of illuminating stuff interviews where he talks about his creative process, his influences, even his really personal journey.
Okay.
So our mission for you today is to unpack what makes Yuki Chiba tick, basically, to give you a shortcut to understanding his creative genius and his outlook on life. And there are some genuinely surprising facts in here.
Sounds good.
This deep dive is really tailor-made for you, the curious learner, so you can quickly grasp the essence of his world without getting lost in, just the surface stuff. So let's jump in.
Okay. Well, it's pretty remarkable how fast Yuki Chiba has risen, especially when you look at how specific and sometimes kind of accidental his path seems to have been.
Accidental is a good word for it.
Yeah. Born in 1990, Tokyo's Kitaku Oji. He's been around music, sure, but this breakthrough under his own name, Yuki Chiba, that's really recent.
And what a breakthrough. Team Tomodachi, his first track is Yuki Chiba, February 2024. It just went ballistic everywhere on social media.
An instant viral hit, yeah. Explosive is the right word.
And he didn't slow down. By June 2024, he follows up with Mamushi, the collaboration with Megan Thee Stallion.
Which, again, 87 million YouTube views, gold certification in the U.S. It's serious global recognition.
Totally. Then his first album, Star, December 2024. Second album, Okuman Choja, March 2025. And that second one was his first ever CD release, apparently.
Ah, interesting. A CD release in 2025.
Yeah. And now he's already set for his first solo show at the Budokan. The Budokan.
Yeah.
In July 2025, the speed is just
meteoric, yeah. But what really stands out, I think, is the spontaneity you mentioned, especially behind these huge hits.
right, like Team Tomodachi.
Exactly. That wasn't some, big calculated marketing push. Our sources say it was a genuine social phenomenon. Hit #1 on Spotify's domestic viral chart, stayed there for days, over 250 million plays on TikTok alone.
And the story behind it is just wild. That phrase, Team Tomodachi, apparently it was coined by his friend Jin Dog, who he calls Jake. But the song itself, made completely on the spot. In Jin Dog's studio in Osaka. No planning, no thinking about success. It was just, as he put it, the mood of the moment.
Just pure creative impulse.
Yeah. And you know that fried food shop in the music video? The sort of iconic scene?
Mm-hmm.
That's a real place. Tendoya in Oji, his hometown. It just adds this layer of, realness to it all. It wasn't staged.
It shows this kind of radical commitment to the present, doesn't it? Trusting intuition over some rigid plan. Maybe that's the secret sauce, that now or never energy that cuts through.
Could be. Because the first video was apparently just him messing around, recording casually.
Right, and it was his friend, Raiken, who saw it and said, dude, this is something. We need to shoot a proper video.
Amazing. And that same kind of unplanned vibe carried over to Mamushi, his biggest hit so far.
Yeah, the story there is pretty cool, too. Megan Thee Stallion just happened to visit the studio while Yuki Chiba was freestyling.
Just freestyle.
Apparently, she heard him saying, star, star, over and over, and just loved it. Then she asked him how to say, get money in Japanese.
Okay.
He said, okan kasegu. Recorded it right then and there. And Megan listened and put it straight into her voice.
Wow. So it wasn't like a label thing, sending tracks back and forth.
Nope. Sources say it was totally Megan's call to put Mamushi on her album. She just genuinely liked the track that much.
That says a lot about the raw appeal of what he does, that spontaneous energy.
It really does. And even the music video had its own twists and turns. Planned for London, ended up being shot in Japan.
Right, and Chiba himself said parts of it were a mystery to him. Even called one scene weird but funny, like the hose washing someone.
Yeah, he implied that was more Megan's vision. Just another layer of spontaneous collaboration, really.
It really sounds like even when he's working on this huge global scale, that spontaneous, slightly unpredictable core is still there. Which I guess brings us to how he actually creates.
Yeah, his whole approach.
He says he doesn't really think about his style. It just happens on its own. Like we said, making songs right there in the studio based on a freestyle, the vibe of the moment.
Like Mamushi.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It seems almost effortless, that spontaneity.
And what's really key here, I think, is how he talks about identity and authenticity. He's very clear. He doesn't feel any need to copy, the correct way of doing American rap.
Which other Japanese rappers might try to do.
Perhaps, yeah. But he just focuses on, in his words, doing his own good self. That self-assuredness, it's almost defiant. It runs through everything and really sets him apart.
And that authenticity seems tied to his connection with language, specifically Japanese. He said as a kid, he could only really get into Japanese rap because, well, he didn't understand American rap.
Mm-hmm. Simple as that.
And he credits King Ghidorah, specifically their album Saishu Heiki, as being huge for him, getting him into hip-hop back in junior high, showing him rap could work powerfully in Japanese.
And then there's K-Dub Shine, who he really admired. K-Dub Shine's skill in using Japanese clearly, keeping its essence in rap, not making it sound too anglicized. That was a big influence.
So he wants to respect the language.
Deeply. Even while he brings in what he calls an English-like Japanese feel, it's not just about word choice, it's this artistic decision to kind of evolve the language within rap, but keep its core intact.
He sounds like he really reveres Japanese, almost protective of it.
It goes pretty far, yeah. He actually believes Japanese is the deepest language in the world. Because of its complexity, the endless potential for wordplay, he feels nothing else compares.
Wow, that's a big statement, especially for someone whose art is words.
And what's fascinating here is how that respect feeds into his actual process. He calls his songs completely like a diary.
A diary.
Yeah, capturing his thoughts, feelings, stuff that happened that day. It's all about immediacy, capturing the now.
So if he gets an idea but can't record right away.
He might write it down, sure, but he finds the emotion changes later, so the priority is always creating in the moment. He actually compared it to Ikebana.
Japanese flower arranging.
Exactly. That art of capturing a precise, natural beauty in the moment, even if it's temporary.
That Ikebana comparison is great, capturing something fleeting. And it seems to fit with how he learns, too. He doesn't, formally study language.
No, but he's super curious, always asking about words he doesn't know in conversations, like Jungian, that sense of profound, mysterious beauty.
Fleeting, but certain, yeah.
Or wabi-sabi, finding beauty in imperfection over time. He even apparently noted their contrasting structures, shows a real intuitive grasp.
So inspiration isn't something he hunts for.
Not at all. He says it's everywhere, all the time. Conversations, life, just anything. It all feeds in.
That constant curiosity, wanting to understand words, not just spit them out. It feels like part of that raw, unfiltered thing he does. Every chat could spark a lyric.
Definitely. It shapes the depth he's aiming for.
But maybe the most, compelling layer to Yuki Chiba comes when you look at his life philosophy, which seems rooted in a really transformative childhood.
Yeah, this part is quite something.
He describes his early years as the worst. Says he actually used to find joy in hurting others. Admits he was always angry, maybe lonely underneath it all.
Which is pretty intense to admit, but then there was this turning point, right? Around 11 or 12.
Yeah, a classmate apparently told him straight up, stop this or you'll have no friends.
Wow, brave kid.
Seriously. So he stopped. But then other kids started bullying the ones he used to target.
Oh, okay. So what did he do?
He stepped in, stopped the new bullies, and suddenly people appreciated him. He went from, as he puts it, villain to hero.
That's a massive shift, almost cinematic, like you said earlier.
Totally. And he says he's been peaceful ever since. It was a conscious choice to live differently, more tranquilly. And you can kind of see that calm demeanor now.
And that peaceful, intentional vibe seems to flow into his lifestyle choices, too. This "you're a stoic" thing.
Right. Loosely stoic. Like giving up meat after seeing that documentary, The Game Changers.
The one about athletes performing better without meat.
Yeah. He's kept that up for 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
But he stresses it's yuru, loose, not super rigid. He also tried giving up alcohol, apparently just experiments with stuff.
Always exploring, trying things out. Which raises this really interesting question when you pair it with his deeper philosophy.
You mean the destiny thing?
Yeah. His belief that everything is decided from the start. Birth, life, death, even our thoughts, our actions. It's all predetermined.
Which sounds potentially quite restrictive
Mm.
or fatalistic.
You'd think so, but for him, it's the opposite. He finds it comforting, easy even. It removes the burden of choice, the pressure of getting it right.
Huh. So if it's all decided anyway.
Then the pressure's off. It frees him up. It allows him to be spontaneous, to experiment without worrying so much about failure because the outcome is already set. It's this kind of radical acceptance that fuels his creativity.
That's a fascinating paradox, isn't it? Believing it's all set, but using that belief to be more free and experimental.
Exactly. And it connects to how he defines cool.
Right. He had thoughts on that. Complaining or anger isn't cool.
Unless you can laugh at it, or unless it transforms into something productive, like a great song or a film. Pure anger, he thinks, is hard to make cool unless it's channeled.
Interesting. And he also questioned the interviewer about what smart even means, right? Admitted he didn't know.
Yeah, quite humble about it. But despite that, he really connects with this big ambition to see what humanity has never seen, do what has never been done, hear what has never been heard.
So his music is like a constant experiment for him, trying to surprise himself.
Seems like it, combining sounds and words in new ways. It's like his predetermined path is to constantly seek the new, to push boundaries within that framework.
It all ties together in a really unique way.
And there's a spiritual dimension, too.
Yeah.
He mentioned reading the Prajnaparamita Sutra, the Heart Sutra.
Buddhist text, right?
Yeah. And finding that its core message really resonated. The idea that if you think your mind is nothing, your mind becomes free and bright. Letting go frees you up.
Which fits with the spontaneity and letting go of control.
Absolutely. And he's even composed music inspired directly by dreams, including what he called suicidal dreams, shows a deep connection to his subconscious, his internal world.
Definitely paints a picture of a really rich inner landscape feeding the music. What about his, daily habits? Anything mundane in there?
Well, his morning routine sounds pretty standard, actually. Coffee, smoking, reading books.
Reading. What kind of stuff?
He reads widely, follows recommendations, picks up books mentioned in other books, like A Chain Reaction, currently reading Rick Rubin's The Creative Act.
Oh, yeah, great.
And Yoshimoto Bananas do not do different things. But ultimately, he circles back to his main point. Inspiration is everything. Always. It comes from just living, talking to people.
So it's not about seeking it out. It's about being open to it. It's just there.
Exactly. Life itself is the muse. It's constantly flowing. And he left the interviewer with this kind of koan, didn't he? About the most important thing.
Yeah, saying it's something without which you can't do anything leaves you wondering what that is for him or for yourself.
A good point to ponder.
And looking ahead, his plans seem pretty clear and very ambitious. He's planning to move to L.A.
Yep, autumn of 2025.
And the goal isn't just make it big in America. It's super specific.
Right, to win a Grammy and come back.
Wow. That's putting it out there.
It is. But somehow for him, it doesn't feel like just, typical artist ambition. Given his journey, his philosophy, it feels almost like a natural next step, taking that authentic, spontaneous self onto the world's biggest stage.
Yeah, it fits. It's about sharing that unique perspective globally.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. A really fascinating journey into Yuki Chiba's world. From the spontaneity behind Team Tomodachi and Mamushi.
To his deep connection with Japanese, his whole life philosophy.
Right, and those big global ambitions. Hopefully this deep dive has given you that shortcut, that unique insight into what makes this artist so distinct. He really does follow his own beat.
Constantly surprising himself and us.
So here's a final thought for you to mull over. Yuki Chiba believes everything is decided right, even our thoughts.
Yet he pushes himself to create things never seen, heard, or done before.
So what does it actually mean to create, to strive, if you believe your path is already set?
And maybe, how could that perspective paradoxically free an artist? Or maybe even free you in whatever you pursue?
Yeah, maybe think about how your own views on things like destiny or language or personal change might shape what you do, the choices you make. We really hope this look into Yuki Chiba's mind sparks some new and unexpected ideas for you.